Business risk refers to the company's ability to generate sufficient revenue to cover its operational expenses. To evaluate business risk, we should look into country risk, industry dynamics, company position, profitability, peer group analysis. If the company's operations are mainly located in one country, the sovereign will normally be the ceiling rating for the company. If I go to Moody's and put United States here, the government of United States of America has a long-term rating of AAA. As we remember, it's the highest rating Moody's provides, which means extremely strong capacity to meet commitments. So for all companies located in the US, AAA would be a ceiling rating. And then depending on the industry and company financial situation, the rating would be assigned for a specific company. If we go to Russia, where I'm from, we can see that the government of Russia have a rating Baa3. This rating means adequate capacity to meet financial commitments, but more subject to adverse economic conditions. So all the companies that are located in Russia will have the ceiling rating of Baa3. And it cannot be higher for those companies than this particular rating. When evaluating business risk, we also are looking into industry dynamics, which means we're looking into competition within that industry, substitution risk. Porter's threat of substitutes definition is the availability of a product that the consumer can purchase instead of the industry's product. A substitute product is a product from another industry that offers similar benefits to the consumer as the product produced by the firms within the industry. According to Porter's 5 forces, threat of substitutes shapes the competitive structure of an industry. We also would look into technological change within the industry, especially now when the technology is improving with such a great speed, and the companies have to keep up on the top of it to be competitive. We would also look into a regulatory change that may affect industry dynamics. Cyclicality. Cyclical risk is the risk of business cycles or other economic cycles adversely affecting an individual company's profit. And last but not least, we would look into barriers to entry within that industry, which is factors that can prevent newcomers into a market or industry sector and so limit competition. This can include high startup costs, regulatory hurdles, or other obstacles that prevent new competitors from easily entering a business sector. Here's an example of the US industry ratings. For example, System Software has AA plus rating, which is pretty high. Integrated Oil and Gas has a pretty high rating as well as the industry. If we look into, for example, airlines or healthcare facilities, we can see that the rating is much lower in this case. For auto manufacturers, it would be BB plus, which would mean less vulnerable in the near term, but faces major ongoing uncertainties to adverse business, financial, and economic conditions, and so on and so forth. So the next ceiling for the company would be the industry rating. And then to evaluate business risk, we would also look into company position and peer-to-peer analysis. We would look into diversity of products, which is important, so clients have different options. Price setter reflects a company's position as luxury, premium, or mass market brand, and also shows how competitive the prices are for the products or services of this company. We would also look into product quality, which is very important in the overall evaluation of the company. We would also look into execution strategy. How effective is the execution strategy of the company? It's easy to come up with great ideas, but the right implementation is the key. We would also look into management quality, which reflects the company's position as it's part of the brand and execution strategy for the company. And market share shows how penetrated the company is within its industry. So here are the companies from the food industry, and you can see some of the critical financial ratios and values listed here. For example, Walmart stores are rated as AA, which is a very high rating. And you can see that total debt to EBITDA ratio is looking really good here. EBITDA margin is 7.39 and 2-year growth rate is 1.84. In addition to that, the revenue for the last 12 months is tremendous compared to other peer companies. At the same time, if we look into target corporations, it's rated as A, which is still a good rating, but lower than AA. And we can see that debt to EBITDA ratio is higher here. EBITDA margin is slightly higher. The growth rate is actually higher, but the revenue for last 12 months is dramatically lower in value. And that's why the credit rating is lower here. And then if we take a look into Whole Foods market, it's BBB minus rating. You can see that debt to EBITDA ratio is very low, which is great. EBITDA margin is pretty high, which is amazing. 2-year growth rate is high as well, but it just has a lower revenue for the last 12 months and rated low as well. So we evaluate both actual values for the revenue and profit and are looking into financial ratios in the peer-to-peer analysis to come up with a credit. The combination of all the factors mentioned above gives us a good idea on where the company stands in terms of business risk and, as a result, in terms of credit rating for the company.